Thanks for giving me a call.
Oh, thank you so much for being able to do this. I'm super excited.
Yeah, I am too, actually. I was like, oh, this is fun.
So is it okay if I record this? It's just for academic use for a project.
Yeah, that's fine. And thank you for asking.
Perfect, of course.
My name is Penny Haas. I am the owner of Penny Haas LLC, which is an event planning and management company in the Middle Tennessee area. I plan events, whether it's weddings, corporate functions, conferences, or special events and get-togethers. My focus is to organize and detail out the events, make things easy for a client or a couple for their next private events. And then other than that, really enjoy working and being a business owner and helping out in the community.
So you own it and you plan everything, or do you have a team under you, or what does that look like?
Yeah, I own and plan everything currently. The idea is to grow it to where there is a team. So currently the team members that I have would be event assistants that are hired for the day of operations. So every event I hire an event assistant that's there, just another set of eyes and hands and, help that you can really bounce any kind of questions and conversations off of. So I do have that as part of an added value whenever somebody books.
Right.
And then I have internships available. So the last two, summer semester and fall semester here, I've had an intern that is learning but then also applying. So the idea is for growth. I have somebody that manages my website.
Okay.
Not so much social media, but more manages website and more professional services that I collaborate with.
Oh,
but other than that, it's me. How'd you find me?
I just did some Googling, and then I saw your Instagram, and I was like, oh, she seems fun. Let's talk to her. But yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, of course.
Google works.
Oh, it does. It does. How do you manage event safety and things like that?
So as far as event safety, making sure everybody understands what the expectations are and when to be where. So having a plan prior to the party that's why it's super helpful and key. I let clients know and even vendors know we plan everything A through Z, 1, 2, 3 in the beginning. That way we can focus on the day of the event. If something were to come up, we're able to use our brain power to problem solve. So it just depends. What is the need of the event? Is there a security need? Let's talk about any restrictions that are at the venue and why. Is it anything to do with pyro or fire? And what kind of licensing and professional services do we need with that? So really understanding the expectations and then also the contractual and liability rather.
So when it comes to budgeting your events, do they just give you a budget and then you work around that, or do you collaborate with them on coming up with a budget? What does that look like?
Yeah, it happens with corporate and any private. So I have to have the real conversations. Everyone has a budget.
Right.
So it's also a very sometimes can be an uneasy topic because maybe it's a personal conversation sometimes. But everybody has a budget. And every budget is okay. We just try to talk about that budget. Then we also talk about what is the vision, the expectation, and what are the priorities. Because there could be times that the budget is not necessarily feasible for what the expectation is. Not that it wouldn't handle a good party.
Right.
Just maybe wouldn't match up to the vision. And then at that point, what do we prioritize? Or then maybe you have a great budget, but you want to still be strategic about where you put it.
Yeah.
So, you never want to disrespect somebody and just completely blow all their money. So,
Right.
Yeah. Everybody has a budget, and how to handle it is to have open conversations. Having, after experience, whenever you see these quotes come through, you tend to have an idea of what some things cost. Now, I'm also, I've been shocked before where I'm oh man, I didn't realize that's what the kind of range is now. So it's to keep up to date with your vendors and what things do cost and kind of what's the economy doing.
Right. Do you feel there's been a big shift in inflation and prices increasing in the past couple of years?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then even there was a lot that happened during 2020 and then after that really shifted our kind of industry. So I think we're not so much in a sense still trying to give back, but yeah, there's a big difference in what things were in 2019 versus what things are now.
Right, that's very true. But something I really like about like big and public events, like, you know, COVID took them away, but I don't think they're gonna go anywhere. Like with marketing or design, like I feel like AI might take those positions from people. But event planning, like you need people behind those events.
You need people.
Yeah.
You need good people. Like that's just something I stress. People do business with people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't want
to. You want to do a good job.
Yes. Yeah, you don't want to text a robot and be like, "Hey, plan this event for me." Like, it's not.
We have Rosie the robots from the Jetsons all coming around. You know, we do celebrate in good times, and then there are times that, like, you know, we celebrate on like the real life times.
Yeah.
So I just figured, as far what was hard in COVID was that we didn't necessarily gather.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, I guess we need to change that. But yes, like you're right. We will have celebrations. People will have events, just depending what that is. Is it an open house for a real estate company that does multiples and they just want to pass it off to somebody to manage these so that they could sell their properties? Is it a wedding? You know? So it could be anything that you plan and organize.
Do you have like a favorite like event that you've done, or like favorite type of event to plan?
Oh goodness, so many. I'm really fortunate, and it sounds cheesy sometimes, or like almost unbelievable, but like I love what I do and I love what I get to see. And where I've worked, so I used to work at a country club, so one of my first events that I worked was this black tie gala that had this coat check with everybody's like nice fine items, you know, they're dressed in tuxedos, ball gowns, and past hors d'oeuvres and champagne upon arrival. It was very glam. So I love the balls and the the formal affairs.
Right.
And I've actually, that was the first event that I ever worked back in like 2020. And now that is still one of my going clients now.
Oh, cool.
And somebody I'm connected to, so full circle. So I like those. But then I also liked whenever I worked at a music venue, I got to see a live concert in association with a branded event. So these are big, like 25-page marketing spec sheets that like had every window dimension for vinyl claims that you could imagine.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then weddings are fun just because it's nice to see a couple on like their best day, family members. You know, like a celebration, and I like cake. So.
Good point.
As far as I go through different ones that are like the creative ones that allow me to be creative. I had an apartment grand opening that wanted a luau theme. So yeah, they really took kind of my suggestions on the vendors and the design, and we even did stuff as like flowers floating in the pool, like tiki themed and everything, like band. So it was like a really nice club, and it was very low key. Like, it didn't require much, but it made such a big impact.
Yeah, and the fact that they let you have your creative, like, they just were like, just do whatever. Like, I feel like that's a dream, just to be able to do whatever you want without too much, like, pushback.
Yeah.
What does your relationship look like with outside vendors?
I love my relationships with outside vendors. I don't have anybody necessarily on an exclusive level, like we must work together. I am an exclusive planner at a venue in Colombia, or more so one of their planners in their packages. So that's nice to get on that level with the venues, because that tends to be one of the first things that people book.
Yeah.
So it's helpful for me. And then you also know the same area, and there's no like guessing. So I like that relationship. On the other side with the vendors, I like working with real, genuine people. And, you know, like the honest ones and the professional ones.
Yeah.
You know, if my idea of what the budget is completely out of line, like, help me understand. So I get a lot of good friends in the industry that have helped me understand what's happening in, like, their kind of lines of business. And so I like really forming those relationships. And so that's kind of like, I try to piece everything together based on what would be best fit for the clients and the event.
But, so like, what does that process look like? They get in contact with you, all of that. But then after that, like, do you have like packages? Do you have like plans? Like, what are the different things that you offer them after that initial contact?
such a good question because I'm a sucker for process.
Me too,
Where
yeah.
some planners are really good on like the design and the art, like the creative side. I'm very much like involved in the process and what happens with that.
Right.
So if somebody were to reach out, sometimes it could be email, maybe the website. There is a submission button on the website. And so that prompts me to read and have a response. I try to respond within at most 24 hours. So try to do a quick response, always go for most
Yeah, you can respond. Yeah, you can respond very quick. Yeah.
and then, so with that is more so asking, here's the initial pricing package. I think on the forefront, I think I talked to you better not. So, generally, I think as far as the pricing, here's the initial pricing. What has been mentioned, like, sometimes don't really ask for a call, but not many people
That's very true.
So trying to ask or engage at least like one question, like how many guests do you have that you're able to meet that you get? What's your fiance's name? Or what's the purpose of this event? There's something to engage and to message you back. And like we're having a conversation is the ideal goal. Just to explain them the booking process. So get the pricing packet. We talk about we have a conversation and an estimate or proposal sent over. Or if everything's straightforward, then we just send a like, hey, my answer is like 10 questions for the contract, just for them to get like contact information. From there, contract again, invoice are sent over, so the contract is sent in like PDF form and the invoice is sent in Dropbox. So as much as I just like to mention, when the contract is out on signed and the event is on hold, contract and the calendar says so. Somebody signs then the event would be checked out and then they just have to find the contract to say that's it. And from there we start the welcome process.
Can you tell me like what that is? Like the welcome
The welcome?
process? Yes.
Yeah, it would just depend kind of what which package, whether it's full planning or month of.
Mhm.
And the welcome package is here's a welcome letter, and then here are the final quarters. So everybody works within Google Drive, and so I give them access to their Google Drive, and with what will like through the planning process be all of their resources and kind of like their hub,
Mhm.
and then ask for an onboarding meeting.
Okay, so just you seem very organized. Like it seems like if it's signed and everything's together, like okay, here's everything you need to book time. Here's everything like what do you think? Just like the turnaround is like from the time they sign it, pay their deposit, it's sent
service hours, so you like want to see what time the ceremony is. And then you back up from that ceremony time, what time does hair and makeup start?
Right.
So you need additional hours. So I go by Central, and we can do